What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Dragon Age Awakening. Now, we are in the throne room by the bonfire, so you know what that means. It is Codex time, so this is not going to be a main episode of the Let's Play. This is going to be a Codex lore reading episode. If that's not something you're interested in, go ahead and click away now. If that is something you're interested in, let's dive into the Codex. We have plenty to feed on here. I haven't touched these since, I think, episode 3. We just finished episode 12, so we have plenty of Codex to read and catch up on. So, without further ado, Charred Sylvan. Occasionally, demons attempt to escape the Fade by possessing something other than mortal flesh. By corrupting a tree, for instance, a demon avoids the madness that results from possessing a sentient creature. Demon-possessed trees are known as wild sylvans. On rare occasions, demons possess trees almost completely destroyed by fire, but that still retain a spark of life. This union often rekindles the fire that first damaged the tree, resulting in a sylvan that burns continuously without being destroyed. Again, I love the explanations of things that we see in gameplay. They did not have to take the time to explain to us what a charred sylvan is and why they now exist in Awakenings, but they did. They gave it a lore reason. I love the attention to detail BioWare used to be known for. It's very, very cool. Pilgrims and Amaranthine. The faithful travel great distances to see the birthplace of Andraste and Denerim, yet many make their pilgrimage longer still by visiting Amaranthine. After all, it was from the city's poor that Maferath and his army departed to invade the Tevinter Imperium, and the chantry of Our Lady Redeemer now stands on the site where Andraste first revealed the Chant of Light. This is why the road that joins Amaranthine to Denerim is known as the Pilgrim's Path, and why the chantry of Our Lady Redeemer is the wealthiest chantry in all of Ferelden. From Annals of Northern Ferelden, by Brother Bedine, Chantry Scholar. The Crown and the Lion. One Saturnalia long ago, a bevy of bards met in Amaranthine to determine whose songs best stirred emotion and whose stomachs best digested foul brew. The first bard fell, mid-ballad, into his barley soup, the second into the lap of a lass most fair. Some say forfeiture was worth the price. The next could not keep his innards inside. One by one they succumbed to fatigue, boredom, and insobriety. At the end, no man was left standing. There was only I, the lovely and fair Rosalind, master and mistress of the Crown and Lion, who proved that no man is mightier than the slightest of lasses. From the War of Lions by the bard Rosalind. The Great Strife. Worn inscriptions deep in the bowels of Vigil's keep tell of the Avar clan that settled here. With our warriors, unmatched in skill and strength, and here we settled, in the caves carved by the hand of Korth the Mountain Father. Radahn, shaman of the people, turned from the gods who had ever sheltered him. In his grief, he destroyed the gifts of the Mountain Father, and brought us low. And Radahn pursued her. She fled into the earth and prayed to Korth to preserve her. He sent deliverance. They called themselves the Dwarves, and they protected Kayleigh. The darkness drove him to madness, but also gave him power. He turned our warriors against us. Kivil sought out the dwarves, and together they bound Radahn in its place. Remember Kivil. May Radahn forever be bound here. The Vigil. Vigil's Keep is one of the oldest settlements in Ferelden, older than Denerim and Gwaren. The barbarians who battled the Tevinter Imperium chose this location for a fortress so that their warning fires would be visible at great distance when Tevinter ships neared the coast. The Vigil has seen battles in every major invasion of Ferelden. Tevinters, rival barbarian clans, and Orlesians have all held her battlements. The Vigil was the first fortress to fall to the Orlesians, and the last to be freed. The cellar beneath Vigil's Keep retains traces of the Avar barbarians. To the Avars, the Vigil was both a fortress and a holy site. The cellars bear monuments to their gods, heroes, and their rare military victories. The Vigil's cellars connect to the deep roads far below. Evidence suggests the Avars and Dwarves traded in secret, a breach of promises made to the Tevinter Imperium in the days before the Darkspawn. Velanna. I know a human crime when I see it. I have experienced more than enough of them. Velanna wreaked havoc in the Wending Wood, murdering humans who crossed her path to terrorize the nearby villagers into releasing her sister. However, Apparition discovered that Darkspawn were to blame for Velanna's sister's disappearance. Hoping to rescue her sister, Velanna offered to help the Warden commander destroy the spawn. Velanna was upset to discover that her sister, Serani, was working willingly with the Architect. She pledged herself to the Grey Wardens and survived her joining. An encounter with Velanna's former clanmate Marin revealed that the clan had cast Velanna out and denounced her anti-human crusade. Velanna is fond of the color green, as well as items that remind her of elven culture and nature. The Canticle of Maferath. These verses were carved into statues in the Wending Wood. They appear to be from the Canticle of Maferath, which the chantry includes among the dissonant verses, unacknowledged in the Chant of Light. Spite ate away all that was good, kind, and loving, till nothing was left but the spite itself, coiled round my heart like a great worm. And in my darkest hour, I turned from her and vowed that I would destroy her. The moment of her death, I knew what I had done, and I wept. I shall bring the lands of my fathers to her word. Therein lies their salvation, and mine. And she came to me in a vision, and laid her hand on my heart. Her touch was like fire that did not burn, and by her touch I was made pure again. Despair not, she said, for your betrayal was Maker blessed, and returned me to his side. I am forgiven. Ancient Vows. There is an inscription in the stone. And so you are defeated by Avar and Dwarf, bound by the blood of your people. May they hold you here forever. Whatever was imprisoned here scratched a message into the stone. Kivil, nothing will hold me. These walls will rot before I expire. When they do, I shall defame your gods, call your mortal shells to serve me, and hunt down every last one of your kinsmen, Avar and Dwarf. I believe this is the demon we put an end to in the Vigil's Keep basements, the shade that was possessing things. I think that's what remains of the man they locked away in the Orders to the Militia. Kendall. The caravans can't get through the woods, and the village is running low on supplies. It's that Dalish clan causing trouble again. I know it. I had my man speak to their keeper several months back, and she, I think it was a she, you can't tell with these elves, said they'd leave for more remote parts. It looks as though they're back, likely their stupid landships blocking the roads. They're a stubborn race, and more than a little dense. I must trouble you for a favor. Go to the Wending Woods and order them to leave. Mayor Grisby. A miner's letter. Thaddeus, it's too dangerous to work here. Sure, the money's good, but there's been nothing but trouble since we broke into the ruin. The foreman down the shaft, the scaffold on poor Horace, he'd heard voices calling his name. Then the incident with the stew. An eyeball. Something's not right, Thaddeus. Oh, and that carbuncle on my neck is back. I swear it's a Tevinter curse. Half the men have left. I'm leaving today with the next lot. We can find work elsewhere. This isn't the only mine in Ferelden. Carl. Now this letter's actually interesting. This makes it sound like the Silverite mine we cleared out was actually haunted, or at least messing with the miners' minds. Or perhaps they just had a very big spot of bad luck. Either way, this doesn't read too dissimilar from indoctrination journals from Mass Effect. Like if I read this exact codex in a Mass Effect game, I would think that the miners here were beginning to be indoctrinated by the Reaper. A letter from the Architect. Uther, I know this has tested your patience. You first gave your blood years ago to further our common dream. I know at times it seems we're going nowhere. Trust me, Uther. I echo your frustration. Vigil's Keep was a setback, yes, but minor. I intend to keep my promise to you. Perhaps you should venture above ground. The greenery and fresh air would do your spirit good. This is a letter from the Architect to the Grey Warden that seems to be on his side. The Architect's Journal. The Seeker collected 2 elves, male and female. The rest died defending their camp. Unfortunate, but a small price to pay. The male has since dashed his head on the wall. Odd. Don't all living beings strive for survival? The Seeker confessed that he did more than simply collect the elves. He found the elves and humans at odds. and exacerbated the conflict by making the humans look responsible for the two elves' disappearances. He said he wanted to see how the elf leader would react. Odd again. The female elf has developed a bond of sorts with her guard. Many of the other disciples seem drawn to her as well. The Seeker says her name is Serani. Perhaps I should speak to her. Maybe she will understand. Now, whatever's going on here, you see, he's been performing some kind of experiments down here. You combine this with the fact that he said the other warden gave up her blood to further some kind of cause. He had wardens down there in the torture chambers. Dwarves died from the Darkspawn curse. I don't know what the hell is going on with the Architect, but I don't like it, and if I get a chance to put a stop to all this, I certainly will. The Architect's notes. These are scribbled on loose sheets of paper, barely decipherable. What happens if the old gods perish? Does the song die with them? The blood is the key. The blood is always the key. The female elf is accommodating, allowing me to take her blood for my work. Perhaps she thinks I'll release her if she cooperates. My disciples report that another elf is rampaging through the woods, killing humans. Revenge for what we did to her kind. Only she hasn't seen through the Seeker's ruse. We'll keep this from Serani. If she is upset, she may stop cooperating. Perhaps I should have killed it while it slept. Now, this is a great insight into the Architect and how much of a scumbag he is. You see here, he says, the female elf is accommodating. Perhaps she thinks I'll release her if she cooperates, so he has no intention of releasing her whatsoever. Just finds it amusing that she thinks this. And then, of course, down here, he thinks it's pretty funny that they haven't seen through the Seeker's ruse, which means the Seeker would be the Darkspawn that framed the humans for the Elven massacre. He finds this kind of amusing, and he's also going to keep this from Serani, who's been helping him greatly at this point. And the reason why he's doing that is because if she's upset, she might stop feeding him blood, and of course he doesn't want that. You also see that she's not being protected from Darkspawn corruption. The Canary merchant was offered protection and given it. He's not blighted. But Serani and the Warden, they're both suffering from heavy Darkspawn corruption. Their eyes are glazing over, their faces are starting to rot. And he can choose not to blight them, clearly, because the Canary merchant has been dealing with them for a long time, and he's fine. So that's also another interesting note on the Architect. He's not whatever he's pretending to be, enlightened or whatever that is. He's just as bad as the mother. He's just more intelligent. A Scholar's Journal. 7 Cloudreach. Ordered roast boar at the inn. Loved that stuff. I shared the meal with a weary old traveler newly arrived via the Pilgrim's Path. Told me that he stumbled upon an odd structure of stones in the Wending Wood. He showed me a souvenir he brought back. One of the smaller stones. It looked familiar somehow. 9 Cloudreach. I remember where I saw that stone. An old history book in Denerim's chantry. The Tevintas build structures to harness mystical energies. Most have been destroyed, the stones used for construction. Yet the traveler claims this one survives. 10 Cloudreach. He was at the inn again and sold me the stone. I'm heading to the Wending Wood as soon as I find a caravan, although people seem wary of the place. 29 Justinian. Finally found a caravan. Nervous lot though. Barely halted to let me out. Found the structure and spent the day studying it. Burned myself on the magical fire several times. But I think I've figured it out. Must make a path of fire that connects all the stones in a single loop. Will attempt after I drive away whatever creature's making that rustling noise. And that is going to completely wrap up and catch up with the codexes we found so far, so thanks for watching everybody. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, as always there is a tip link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll see you soon with more Dragon Age Awakening. Take care everybody, have a great day.